Um, it's a good thing this is a not for children channel. Ah, what a weird freaking day. Let's see. You ever had somebody whip it out on you? It's rough being a girl. You know what I mean? Uh, so we'll start with people that whooped it out on me, I guess. I was about 11 or 12, and my dad was invited to by one of his so-called students. This lady had a big crush on my dad, and I'm like 99.75% sure he was doing it. And I'll say her name because I doubt she's still alive. And her name was Linda Gray, and she had a husband that looked like, Barbie and Ken, the Ken doll, real nice looking man. And they lived, I'm trying to think of the name of the place they lived. But it was a very, very expensive, nice area. And they owned their house and everything. And I mean, this woman, she had bottles of Chanel. She had $1,000 bottle of Chanel in her bathroom. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she says, don't ever buy a bottle that big of cologne or perfume. She says, because it goes bad. So that was the first good advice I ever heard in my life. Um, but anyway, it was a big dinner party, and my baby sister and I were there, and so we were dressed real nice for the party, and I had a long gown on, kind of thing, and dressed real nice, nice makeup on and stuff, and it was like the first year I went to go live with my dad, I think, first year or two. And so, really big money people, classy party. And so, we were raised in kind of an adult world. And so, it was a very common thing for us to go to dinner parties and, dinners, at fine restaurants or at the yacht club, with our parents and stuff. So we always knew how to act, and most of it was don't speak unless spoken to, because children would be seen and heard. And so we were just, proper little ladies. And I mean, we never went around like barefoot or dirty or nasty. I mean, we were, well dressed and all that kind of stuff. My mother always drove a Cadillac. So anyway, we were at this party, and I was playing a lot of guitar back then and taking lessons and stuff. And I really loved, a lot of the Carly Simon type music and Nat King Cole, I was not into like acid rock or any of that kind of stuff. Like a lot of the kids that, I went to school with and that. I liked songs that told a story, Helen Reddy, Olivia Newton-John, stuff like this. And Sinatra, my absolute favorite. Um, uh, Tony Bennett, I got into the really older music when I started working at ballrooms. But anyway, so we're at this party, so this really older guy, and I'm talking about older. I mean, like white hair, you know, and like probably 30 or 40 years older than my own father. Okay. And the guy started kind of hanging around near me and stuff. And as kids at the yacht clubs or anything, you could get liquor, you could get anything you wanted because people would bring it to you. They'd say, hey, you want to drink? You know. So at least that's what happened to me. I go to yacht clubs and I could drink for free all night long, even with my dad there. But anyway, at one point, this guy says, "Do you want to drink?" And so I'm figuring he thinks I'm like 21 or older, right? And so I said, sure. And he's like, what would you like to drink? And that was the next thing. I was like, what would I drink? Because I don't know what's with my camera, but it won't view the whole street. It is just really strange. So uh, I was thinking of this song, and it says, as she sits there and sips her vermouth. There was some song with that line in it, and I thought that would be a classic. That's probably what I should. So I told him vermouth. So this guy brings me like, a glass of dry vermouth. Man, you ever tried that? It's what they make martinis out of, and they only use a little. Dude, I'm like drinking straight vermouth, and we're talking and stuff, and my dad was like real famous and stuff, so people always like to ask me questions about my parents and things in their business, and of course I knew it all. I mean, we grew up in that business, so the sailing business. So we're talking away. I remember that, and then all of a sudden he says, "Hey, come here." And he walks away to like the dark side of the house by the fence. And it's only, like 3 feet wide to the fence. And it's real dark back there. He's like, come here. I'm like, what? And I walk over there, and this guy whoops his stuff out, right? And I was like freaked the hell out. And I got right away from that. And I don't think I ever even said anything to my dad, but I just kind of stayed with my dad for the rest of the night, right next to him, because that was just too weird, And I probably should have said something about it, because I'm thinking I didn't, because my dad would have had the whole place lined with sheriffs. Now, my dad would not beat somebody up or something crazy like that. I've never seen my dad get in a fight, or threaten to hit anybody or anything like that, because my dad's just not that kind of guy. So, nothing like that would ever happen. My father would have had, 25 sheriffs there. Would be the first thing, I'm sure. But, yeah, so that was real scary. I was like 11 or 12. So then in my 20s, when I moved to Oklahoma, I had a little girl, and she was 5 months old when I moved there. I made some really great friends, which I believe one of them's deceased, or both of them are, the husband and wife. And their name was the Browns. And those people got thousands and thousands of dollars out of me. I did a blog about it before. And it was horrible to even think back at that. When I'm a brand new mother, and I had a lawsuit that paid off like $30K, and freaking these people stole all of it, but about $2,000. It was about all I got out of it. It was really bad. And so, anyway, Mike wanted to borrow $5,000 at one point in time, and we were not on good terms. This girl's husband. At that point, we were all best friends for a while, but we were not on good terms at that point. And I thoroughly would not trust him to loan him any kind of money like that. And so he had asked point blank if I would loan him $5,000 so he could buy a tow truck. They called it a wrecker. For his business, so he could do towing in Oklahoma and over state line in Arkansas or something like that. He could make huge money with that for his auto mechanic business he had at his property, at his house. And I was like, no. But anyway, he had got a tow truck, and I was driving a big giant Ford back then that my Aunt Roseanne bought, so-called for me, but it was in her name and insured by her. So it was never put in my name. It was supposed to be my car. But anyway, she only paid $500 for it back then. And it was like mint when I got it. It was in very nice shape. Belonged to the neighbor, a guy named Bob. And And so the car was kind of problematic. You know, it wasn't driven for a lot of years. It just kind of sat there in front of his house. So it had problems every once in a while. You know, it needed mostly maintenance stuff, you know. And they had done a tranny filter kit on the thing. And then it was just driving like a damn Clydesdale horse. After I got out of the shop and I called up there, I told Michael and I said, you know, the car drives absolutely terrible. And they're like, there's no possible way. And I said, well, it does. I said, it drives like a Clydesdale horse. I said, it drove fine before. But, I mean, it is driving like a Clydesdale horse. I don't know what's wrong with it. And they're like, well, you just got out of the shop. And I'm like, well, I don't know why it's worse than when I brought it in. So, anyway, they sent his son, Mike Jr., down to pick up the car. He was like 6 or 7 foot tall, red-headed, glasses, and I had repeatedly seen Mike punch him in the face for acting stupid. And that was pretty shocking, because this kid was probably 16, 18 years old. I don't know. He might have been 20. I don't know. And he was usually pretty quiet, and he was always very nice to me. You know, kind of a little bit of a goofy looking kid. Sure didn't look like his dad. So anyway, he sent Mike Jr. down to come get me in the car. I don't think I had my daughter with me. I think she was at the Christian daycare. And so I remember having my fur coat on. It was freezing, you know. The weather was so bad there. It's like snowed and ice and all kinds of stuff. I was freezing. I usually always wore a dress and heels. I always had my hair done, my nails done, everything, you know. Fur coat on. He comes, picks up the car, picks me up. And we're driving along in this tow truck. Now, like I'm in my 20s, okay? And we're driving along in this tow truck and, you know, talking. And, you know, it's a long trip from Pryor Creek to Salina. You know, out at the lake. I think it's Lake Hudson. There's the name of that lake out there. And Salina's real country. Very country out there. In fact, they literally have dirt roads out there and stuff. So anyway, we get about 3/4 of the way out there, and I look down, and this kid has his hoo-ha hanging out, and he's got his hand on it, and I'm like freaking out. You know, because, I mean, the first thing you think is rape. That's the first thing you think when somebody's whipping their stuff out. That's just, and the second thing is, how creepy is that? You know, what will they do next? I mean, we're talking a knife in your throat, a gun, beat you up, hold you down. Are they going to chase you around, you know? I mean, you know, it's just really a scary thought. I know it's just a body part, but it's just a really scary thought as a girl to, I guess, have an invitation like that you never would have considered in the first place. It's a whole lot different than waving hello. It's like somebody whooping their stuff out on you. Like, I guess they're so proud that they just show it to you. I don't know. It's just weird. But anyway, so that freaked the hell out of me. And I was like, put that away, please. You know, it's like, why? You know, aren't you going to look at it? You know, and stuff like that. And it was like, and I'm like, pull over. And I wanted to get out at the next place, okay? Right there for that story, Linda and Mike's and all that. And I didn't say anything. And I told, you know, our best friends, their best friends for many, many years, and then my best friends, Cletus and Jerry. And I told Cletus, I said, look, I said, Mike's son whipped his stuff out and was like holding it. And I don't know for how long, because, you know, they don't normally look at people's crotches, you know what I mean? But it was like really scary. and not appropriate. I mean, because here I'm a customer, okay, too. He's towing my car behind a tow truck, to the shop in Salina. And man, I'm going to tell you, Mike got so pissed off. He called me a liar, and my son did not ever do that. I'll take your car and pick it up with the tow truck and dump it in the middle of Lake Hudson. And I don't owe you any money. And da 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 da. And I'm sure probably to this day he's got numerous legal problems because it wasn't recognized to begin with that there was something wrong. Okay, it's just something you don't do. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of situations where that's happened. Oh, I was renting costumes at Toy Box in Panama, and I get out of the car, and the back of the lot's kind of dark because sometimes that street light that's over the top of the club would be out or dim. And so I always open the front door of the club and talk to security and then talk to the manager and ask permission to run costumes. I don't just like barrel in there and drag all my stuff in. I always ask permission first. And it could be a different manager. It could be a new manager. Who knows? You never know. I mean, they change management a lot of times through the years. And so, anyway, I jumped out of the car, getting ready, and walking from the back fence down the side of the building in low light. And there is this guy standing there that looks like Adonis with a cowboy hat on, dark tan, really nice shape, and he's 100% naked, and he's standing there with a big smile. He's like, how you doing, young lady? And he's 100% naked except for cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And I'm like, fine. And I walk in the front door, and I looked to the security guy. I said, there's like a totally naked guy out there with a cowboy hat and cowboy boots. I mean, he is really nice looking. Just standing over there under the light by the side of the building. And he's like, what? Not again. And I'm like, huh? He runs out there and he is flying pissed. He's running around the building trying to find the guy. He can't catch the guy. And he comes back in, and I'm like, is it safe to go out there? I mean, he said, it's a college prank joke thing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says they do that crap here, like every 2 weeks or once a month. You never know. It's some kind of dare thing they do at the college. And people think these guys come down here and they think it's funny. And they'll stand out there just totally naked as a joke. And it's so hard for us to catch them. I'm like, oh. So at least they're not the mad killer or the rapist. They're just there to be funny. I mean, I'm not going to say the guy was bad looking. He was very nice looking, head to toe, and had a beautiful smile. But it's not like I'd be doing the dude that's standing on the corner naked, you know what I mean, any more than I would be doing the construction worker that's yelling and hooping and hollering from a construction site going, hey, baby, hey, mama. And, man, it smells like gas. Like propane or something. Holy hell. I mean, it almost smells like a gas leak. Bad. Ooh. But anyway, that was another time. I'm trying to think. Oh, I was working at Cahill Cabaret in California. I had fake ID, and I was the bartender. And, I had to wear, tuxedo pants, with a satin stripe down the side, heels, white tuxedo shirt, bow tie. It was really class act thing. They had linen tablecloths, and they were having a terrible time trying to keep it open. I think that was actually in Lenox, the city of Lenox, which is down by LAX. It's all kind of the same. And, we had full security and everything. We never had problems at the club, inside or out. You always had a doorman to walk you out and stuff. I didn't dance right as bartender. I made $400 a day in tips. And so, anyway, uh, one of the dancers, and this, I think, I'm trying to think if that was a nude club or topless. I'm kind of thinking it was topless. It might have been nude though. And uh, and one of the dancers had come up to me at the bar and said, "Oh my God." And I said, "What?" And she says, "That guy is like doing his stuff." I said, "What do you mean doing his stuff?" And there was like three what looked like Mexican guys sitting at a table. And I said, "What are you talking about? This place wasn't that busy. It was day shift." And uh, and she says, "He is like playing with his pee-pee while I'm on stage." I said, "How do you know he's playing with his pee-pee while you're on stage?" She says, "Because I know." And when I got off stage, I walked around the table and I looked down and saw him playing with his pee-pee. Because, I was like, how does she know when there's, linen tablecloth on the table, right? Because she walked around the table just to see, because she was mad because she thought he was doing that when she was on stage, and she was right when she walked by him. So I said, "Well, you better tell the door guy." And we had door guys that would, beat you with a bat. They had guns. They had everything back then. You didn't do any crazy crap back then. You couldn't even touch the girls. If you slapped a girl on her butt, there was three door guys hauling you out, beating your butt at the trash can. It just was not appropriate. It was strictly for entertainment purposes only. Nobody did any extra stuff or any kind of crap like that. It was strictly for entertainment. And they paid a door fee to get in, had to show ID, all that kind of junk. But we were always very well protected. So, the door guy went over there, and sure as heck, he looked down and he saw the guy doing it. He pulled the linen tablecloth off the table, and it showed everybody in the room that he was like playing with his people, and they grabbed him by the scruff of his neck and hauled him out. And that was the end of that. And I think that's the last time I ever saw linen tablecloths on tables in a strip club. So anyway, that was another time. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There was some other time I was thinking of that was pretty weird. These people, I don't know why they want to work it out. Now my ex, George, my youngest baby's dad, when we were traveling and stuff on the road, running costumes, because he would go with me on his days off and whatever, and when he left Sears, and we would travel all over the states running costumes, and he always wears a suit, dress shoes, always dressed really nice, and because he just was a suit kind of guy, and so I would buy him all the suits and pretty shoes I could. So anyway, we were traveling many a times beyond like dead road, down in Mississippi or back side of Alabama, or from Columbus, Georgia to another place. And he'd say, "Well, I got to go to the bathroom." I'd say, "Man, there's nothing for miles, George. I wish we'd have said something back there." And he'd go, "Well, I didn't." So I said, "Well, I'll just pull over up here and you can just go real quick." And he's like, "I am not." And we'd go back and forth and back and forth. He's like, "I am not." And I'm like, "Why? There's like nobody on the highway. All you do is, get out, open both doors, stand between both doors, go real quick, and, it's easier for a guy to go than a girl." And he's like, "I'm not doing it. It's not appropriate for a man to whip his stuff out in public and all that." And I'm like, "God, you're just being like anybody else, man." I said, do you really think a car that's going by at 70 miles an hour is going to stop and look at your, wanker?" And, he's like, "No, I'm not doing that." He just absolutely refused. So there was no way in hell you get him to pee in public for any reason. It being behind a tree, in a bush, anything. There is no possible way he would ever do that. He was just really, really proper about that. And so, and yeah, there is, what do they call it? Indecency law. So if somebody's like showing their stuff in public, you can get a ticket for that or whatever. Um, uh, I had a girl I worked with, FIP. She got an FIP. She came to work one day, And her name, we called her Ass Annie. She had no boobs at all, totally flat chested, and she had a great butt. And the guys used to joke with her, they'd say, Ass Annie. And she was the funniest character you ever met. She was so funny. She was a serious drinker. She was, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen her sober. I even lived with her for a short time. We were really good friends and stuff. And, I got this all closed up here. And so, she, I got to go to the store, and they're working on this road, so you can't get through. So I got to figure out another way through here. So anyway, she came to work. She hadn't been to work in a couple days, and I'm just like, "Where you been, man?" She goes, "Well, I didn't get to drink for a couple days," and it was like, "Sure, you know." She said she was in jail, and we were like, "Huh? Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, I was in jail for a couple days." And I was like, "For what?" And she said, "FIP." And I said, I was like, what is FIP? And she said, "Fucking in the park." And I'm like, "You were doing what?" And she said, "Well, I went out with this really nice looking guy, and we decided to go to the park, and then next thing we like stayed the night there and passed out from drinking, and we were doing it, and next thing you know," she says, "I kind of looked to the side, and there was these shiny black boots." I'll never forget this story. And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, they were the boots that belonged to the cop." And got busted for FIP. And I was like, "Whoa." But anyway. So I'm trying to think of this other time somebody who whooped it out. When I was dancing, they used to do that all the time, and you're like, you turn around and they whooped it out, and you go, "Put that away." And I'm like, "Why?" "Put that away. You can't do that here." And then they like tuck it away, and it's like, thank God. Because if you tell them after the second time, you can literally walk away and take their money and not have to refund it because they're inappropriate. But anyway, so guess what? It happens again. I am at the storage, and I'm trying to get 2 units combined so I can save money. I picked up my paycheck today, and the stupid bank Regions is not going to credit my check till like midnight tonight. As of midnight tonight, I have 25% late charges. On like just under $600 worth of storages at that place. I've got another one at another place, and it's like, damn. So anyway, I'm still trying to move these units around because I got till tomorrow if I can combine the two, and I just about got it done. And I think I can compile the two easily. Otherwise, I can compile most of one of the units and get a little tiny unit and save myself $100. But if I get it all in there, I save myself $200 a month. So, and I can still be able to work and ship products out and stuff. So, I don't want to cripple myself. If I have any internet sales, I want to be able to get that. Like all money. So anyway, I stopped for a minute and I was watching this vlog of Dennis Collins on YouTube, my friend in Dallas. And he had picked up this blue Mustang, an older blue Mustang. I'm not a great fan of Mustangs because they're just so much like a Ford Falcon, but there's a couple of them that aren't too bad. Like the brand newest, or like a few of the like late 70s, early 80s. And I was watching this vlog. It was only like a 9-minute vlog, and it wasn't even over yet. And all of a sudden, there's a guy standing there, like 2 feet, at the door opening, like 2 feet from me. And he's like, "Wow, that's nice." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's a friend of mine in Texas." And I said, uh, he does a lot of Jeeps and stuff, and he um he just picked his Mustang up with like, I think it was like 15 miles since the 90s or something on his car, and his second owner to the car. And so the guy's like going, "Wow, that's neat." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "This guy, he's pretty incredible." I said, "He drives all over." I said, "This car's in Arizona." And and so the guy's, like standing there. I turned the computer around so that this guy can see it easier, because he's standing at the doorway of my unit. And I was sitting on a chair, and because I sure wasn't going to say, "Hey, come here, look at this," because I don't even know the dude. And and there's security cameras above our heads. There's security cameras down every hallway. It's pretty secure. So anyway, they got security inside and outside the whole thing. So anyway, um, uh, I'm watching, this vlog a little bit, and then I moved it back and showed him the first look of the car when they got there, and so then I like see his arm moving from, like, the side of my eye, like something's moving, and I look over, and I don't normally look at like people's crotches, but I look over, and this guy has got like, a 1 foot long hoo ha. And he's like, stroking it with one hand, and holding on to it. And he's like looking really young. And he looks Mexican, maybe. And he's like real light skin and thin. And I mean, he could have been, 18, 19 years old to, mid 20s. I don't know. I'm not sure. He was real soft spoken. And it was just really strange. And I'm seeing his stuff hanging out, and he's like 2 feet from me, and it's really scaring me. And uh so I turn the video off, and I get up, and I said, "Okay, get out." And he's like, "What? Huh? You're pretty." And I said, "Out." And I was scared. I didn't know if this guy was going to try to rape me or put a knife to my throat or what. I didn't want to get hit or anything. It was really scary. And he was a thin guy, wearing a baseball cap. And he was real soft spoken. He kept saying, "You're pretty," and "Ew." And so I finally got him to step back, and I pulled the door down and locked it. And he's like, "Where are you going? What's your name? Where are you going?" And I just started walking and going towards the office. And I didn't even know if anybody in management was still there. And it spooked the living crap out of me. But I do have one of the manager's personal phone numbers, and I texted him while I was trying to walk, which is really hard to do. And it's like this guy was at my unit and whipped his stuff out. And I sent it immediately because this guy was still following me, and I didn't want to like call and like announce there's a guy just whooped his stuff out at my storage. And but anyway, so I was like scared to death. I get to the front of the building, and all of a sudden my phone rings, and the guy says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, man, I'm like freaking out." I said, "I am a nervous wreck. That was really scary." He's like, "What the hell's going on?" And I said, "Well," he's like, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at the front of the building." He said, where were you? I was just back at my storages. And I said, I didn't hear the guy walk up. It was really weird. I just, had turned my head and there was some guy there standing, at the door of my storage. And uh, so he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and that makes me wonder if he just like wandered in there or, he has a storage there or, I don't know. I mean, that was just too weird. And so the guy was like, you know, that's just crazy. And I said, well, I said, play back the video. You should be able to see him, no problem. And he's like, really? And I said, yeah. I said, because there's two video cameras right over my unit. And one of my units. There's two video cameras on it. One going one way, one going the other, okay? And so he's like, well, I can't see it till tomorrow, but I've already put notice into, the security company. He says, and we'll see. And he was like, was that somebody you saw earlier at my office? And I said, I don't think so. I say, he said, do you think you would know who he was if you saw him again? I said, maybe. I said, he just looked like a kid, you know, and he didn't look, old at all. Um, and I said he kind of looked Mexican, and he had light skin. He wasn't fat, or anything. He was real soft spoken, but it was like he was dumb, because he kept saying, "You're so pretty. I like you." Who goes around whooping their stuff out like that? Are you crazy? You've lost your mind. And what girl do you think is gonna go with you when you freaking whoop your stuff out on her? Total stranger, right? That's like not even classy. And you have to be like super desperate to just be whooping your stuff out anywhere in public, right? Like somebody's gonna go, "Wow, I like your stuff. I'm just gonna jump on that." Like, really? Ugh. So anyway, just freaky, and I was really rattled. And so the manager, he starts hoofing it all over the property, and he's like looking out the doors, and looking around corners and down hallways and everything. He's all over the place, and he can't. There's only a few people around the building. I mean, it could have been somebody that wandered into the complex. Don't know. You can't say for sure it's somebody that rents there. Um, you know. So anyway, really scary. But I mean, the guy was still following me, and I was walking away, and I was going up towards the office, and I didn't even realize it was that late. I didn't even look at the time, so you know, uh, normally management wouldn't even be there, but the manager was, and so it was just really weird. So anyway, I'm at management at the front of the property, and we were talking, and I told him what had happened. I said it was just really weird. I didn't even hear this guy walk up. He was just standing there, and next thing you know, I'm looking, and he's got this damn 1 foot of crap hanging out, and it spooked the living daylights out of me. And so uh, he's like, "Do what?" I'm like, "Yeah, look at the video cameras, man." I said that was freaking creepy, and I said, that's that. I mean, that's just not normal, you know. And so anyway, um, yeah, my cage is still rattled from that. It's been years and years, you know, since I saw anybody like whooping their stuff out like that in public. I mean, it's kind of scary when you're a girl, you know, but because anything could happen, and Anyway, yeah. So pretty spooky, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. They'll get the videos up and see what they can see, but um, like management was going, we'll see if we can get it pulled up, and if we can get a good picture of the guy or whatever, we'll get the sheriffs down and definitely do a report. And I said, okay. But oh my gosh, scared the poopers out of me. And he says, "What are you doing now?" I said, "I'm done. I was hoping to get these storages moved together and combined." And I said, "But I'm kind of scared now because especially if you're gonna go home shortly. You should already been home, and I don't want to hang out here when you're not here or management's not here." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't want you here either after this happened just now. I think it's not a good idea. He might come back." And I said, "Yeah, no." Uh, and so he gave me grace to be able to move this stuff some more tomorrow, to see that can incorporate and save some money. It's just not tonight. It's not a good time. That guy might come back. He might be still in the building. Who knows? Really creepy. Really, 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 really creepy. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Too weird. So I drove around and to see if the guy was anywhere nearby, and I didn't see him. So I don't know where the dude came from. He might have been in there helping somebody else move some stuff in or out, or who knows. But that was so creepy, you guys. Oh my gosh. Really creepy and very scary. I mean, I am a freaking nervous wreck. I don't know whether to cry or just shake. I mean, I just, whoa. So weird. Yeah. So totally weird. Um, I mean, that's just. Is this a thing where you just go up to people's storages and whip your stuff out? This is the thing. That is just crazy. Oh my. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good one. When in doubt, don't let them whoop it out. Oh my, oh my. Do some kind for a stranger, but don't whoop it out. And I'll see you in the next one. I love you.